A week away from training camp, and it's remarkable how much has changed for the Seahawks, and specifically their quarterback. Not since the end of last season. For the first time since Pete Carroll became coach of the Seahawks, they are bringing the same quarterback back. They're going to have the same starter in Russell Wilson. The difference, if you remember a year ago, they were still splitting reps three ways. Tavares Jackson was still getting starters reps. It took until after the third exhibition game before Russell Wilson had earned the starting job. And the fact that from the beginning this year, throughout the offseason, he was the guy being groomed to be the starter. We're going to see some of the results of that. And Bill Barnwell of Grantland.com, he joined us on the Brock and Danny show on Wednesday to talk about, he was looking at the four young quarterbacks. It is Andrew Luck, it is Robert Griffin III, Russell Wilson, and then Colin Kaepernick, who's actually entering his third year, but is similar in that he's only been a starter for less than a season. But looking at who is going to have the best 2013, and Barnwell's pick was Russell Wilson. And one of the reasons for that is you have to remember that a year ago, he was the guy who was not getting the sort of crash course that Luck and Griffin got in terms of getting ready for the season. He was the guy who they weren't even sure where he was going to be on the pecking order. It's conceivable he could have ended up the third string guy. He didn't. He ended up the starter. But the result was that first month of the season, which everybody's looked at as an indication that, well, maybe that December he had that spectacular conclusion to the regular season isn't really the indicator of where he's headed, but that you're going to have to factor in the learning curve that he had that first month. Well, maybe that was a hangover. That was the result of not having all the same amount of practice that some of those other guys got when they were being groomed for the starting job from the moment they were picked. Is it going to make a difference having the same offensive coordinator, having a guy who's in place and is going to get all the starters reps during training camp? We're about to see, because at least one person thinks that when you look at that range of young quarterbacks, that it's Russell Wilson who has a chance to have the best 2013.